Okay, so before we get started, we're not starting with the camera class quite yet, but I'm going to show you something with the camera, okay? And this is like one of the coolest gadgets I've ever come across, ever, and I love it. And it relates to my new job, but I can't exactly tell you how, if that makes sense. But I came across this gadget. In St. Martin. So I came across, I'm waiting for my phone to go up on the screen, because I do want to show this to you. Let me see if my phone wants to behave. I came across this gadget in St. Martin. Where is my...
Before the hurricane.
Yeah, there is no more St. Martin. I apologize for that fact.
That is so sad.
I don't have any control of it, but let's go ahead. Let me get my computer behaving. Come on. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming. I'm waiting for my computer. This is what happens when you use technology that doesn't like to play with you.
That's
Welcome.
the story of my life.
Welcome to me. It worked perfect for Chris the other day. It just doesn't want me to show you this, but I will not show you this. So this guy right here, come on. There we go. So this guy right here is called the Insta Nano 360. Okay? And you look at it, and what did someone just say? They just said, yeah, it's called the Insta Nano 360. I want to show you what it does because it's insane. Now, it works with iPhones, it works with iPads. This is something you will not find in a store. And I didn't introduce myself. Those of you that don't know, you can find it on Amazon, though. I'm saying you can find it on Amazon. My name's Richard. I'm the digital manager on board. What I actually do, I can't tell you yet because we've not announced it yet. But if you pay attention on Celebrity's website on November 9th, my job will become very clear. We have an event for Celebrity in Royal Caribbean called See Beyond, and it's the next generation of the guest technology experience on board. So that's as much as I'm legally allowed to say. Contractually allowed to say. But I want to show you this cool gadget. It's called the Insta Nano 360, and I came across it in St. Martin, of all places, in a little gadget store that happened to be in St. Martin, and they wanted a lot of money for it, and I said no, so then I just went and bought it on Amazon. You're not going to find this in an Apple store. You're not going to find this in a Best Buy. You're not going to find this in whatever Canadian stores there are. This is something you have to kind of buy online because to get it on the shelf, it costs a lot of money. This is about $150 or so, but here's what this does. Chris is going to show you all about the normal camera on your phone. And you know, we're talking the normal camera. The normal camera only shoots what's in front or behind you. What this does is this shoots all the way around you. So it has two giant camera lenses on it. Now, Samsung makes things like this that only work with the Samsung phones, but this is an Apple. This is actually made in the same exact factory the iPhone is made in. It's made down the aisle from the iPhone. It's made by the manufacturer of the iPhone, which is called Foxconn. And this is the kind of tech that you're going to see built into phones pretty soon. That it can stitch together the front and the back camera. You notice the front cameras have been getting a lot better on the phones. And here's this guy right here. And here's what's cool. So I'm looking out at all of you. You can see all of you there, but at the exact same time, without moving the camera, I can look at myself as well. So I can take pictures, I can take videos. During the hurricane, I was in Miami during the hurricane, I live streamed the video. I live streamed a video of what was going on there. And it was actually really quite cool that I can go ahead and I can do all those different things. But here's where it gets cool. So I can take a picture, I can take a video, and I can play it back if I wanted to. So I can just walk around. I can take a video really quickly, and it's recording directly to the internal memory on the phone. You can also put an SD card in there and do it on its own. Here's the problem, though. When you go to watch this video back, how do you watch it back? And this is why I love this tech. So you see I have this. I'm playing the video now. I can look around. It's going wirelessly, so it's a little bit strange, but you're watching it back and you're like, okay, well, that's cute, but here's where I love this company. I've never seen a company that makes a 360 camera that does this. What you do is you take the camera and you put it in the box. You take your phone and you put it in the box that the camera comes with. The box has lenses inside of it, and you will see a single image.
Oh, like the old stereotypes.
Oh, yes.
But you can look all the way around.
Holy smokes. Okay.
That's what's really, really cool. But this is where a lot of the future of cameras are actually headed. They're headed in this direction. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that off from the main screen. My phone is now, one weird thing, your phone works upside down once you do this. I don't understand why. I'm going to turn it off of the main screen, and I'll pass it around a little bit, because I think this is really cool, and this is where it's coming. And what happens is, I'll leave with this one thought, and I'll try and come in and do some of the other classes, little things in some of the other classes. Apple does not do things first. They just put wireless charging in the iPhone 8 this year, but they generally do things the best. They take a long time to do it. So what you'll see is in the next year or so, you will see phones come out with 360-degree cameras built in. Apple will not put a 360-degree camera in the phone probably till 2022. But when they do it, it'll be the best. But this is called the Insta360 Nano, and it's a really cool little gadget. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this guy in here. Now, do realize I'm going to pass around a $1,000 iPhone 8 Plus. It's got a passcode on it. Don't steal it, please.
The 8 Plus isn't out yet, is it?
The 8 Pluses,
Lock the doors.
That's a discussion. Yeah, Chris is going to lock the doors. But I'll leave that so you can walk around and you can see
I
that.
thought that was coming out in November.
What? No, that's the X is coming out in November.
Oh, okay.
I would not pass around an 8 Plus because I'd lose all of my respect, an X because I'd lose all of my respect at Apple. So, on the Martinique at 4 o'clock, the people I have signed up are the ones that are guaranteed to have a computer if you already have a Gmail account. I don't mind people coming. It will say previous sign up required. The reason I'm doing this, I want to show Chris and his assistant a class that I created that is by far the best class. Have any of you ever taken Google Photos with me before? Nobody's ever taken? Yes. Google Photos is by far the best class I've ever created. I love that class with passion. I just can't teach it to an empty room. So you guys are just victims while Chris learns the class, if that makes sense. You're just you're victims to that. So that's going to be 4 p.m. on Martinique afternoon. I don't have anything scheduled for that right now because that's Saturday, right? That's the day of the week it is. It's
We
Saturday.
think. Whatever
Yeah.
it is, it's Martin.
Today's Thursday. Okay. So make sure you can mirror to my screen. Make sure you can get to my screen, Chris. We're going to continue past the camera. You are good to go. And just so you know, Chris is going to have copies. He has copies of yesterday. If you missed yesterday, I'm going to give you a smaller copy. He'll have smaller copies of yesterday's class as well. I'm going to retreat back into my man cave. I have a secret man cave that I can't tell you where it's located. I have 5 monitors in my man cave. That's why they call it a man cave. But I'm going to release you back to Mr. Chris. Chris, I'm gonna hang around until my iPhone's back.
Yeah, you gotta get your
I thought you would leave it.
No, it's not your iPhone.
The pictures have already been taken. That's what he was doing up here. All you're doing is you're seeing it playing back. You're in charge.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Richard. Thank you for the nice tech tip there. Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. So for those who are here, I would like to thank you for coming to this class. My name is Chris. I am your Alliance manager, and my colleague there, his name is Johan. So we both work for Celebrity, but Apple has required us to be certified, and we took some trainings, certifications, so we both are Apple certified specialists. So if any problems, even if you're not using an iPhone or even using a Samsung, a tablet, an Android, please feel free to stop by here and we'll be gladly to assist you. Alright, so this class, just to let you know, to be aware, that there's a $10 fee to attend this class. So if Johan hasn't taken your CPAS card yet, so please after the class, please give us your CPAS card and we will swipe it. Alright, but do that after the class. Just to remind you that there's a $10 fee to attend this class. So today's lesson, what are we going to learn is how to use your camera properly. Alright, so now you go on a cruise. Okay, you brought everything together and now you bring your camera, your phones, your tablets to take pictures. Before, we used to carry big cameras to take pictures, right? But nowadays, we all just bring our smartphones, our tablets, our iPads to take pictures. You're on a cruise, make sure that you take a lot of pictures. Alright? But here I'm going to show you how to take good pictures. For sure, You're gonna enjoy this class and you're gonna learn a lot. Alright, so on your phone, on your tablet, or iPhones or iPads, please find the camera application. Okay, so whenever you go on a tour and you go and take this scenic tours or any tours, all right, so you'll have your camera ready to take pictures. So when you open your camera application, okay, so all we know that whenever we want to take a picture, we always use this white button down here, correct? Now, if you attended my class yesterday, I've shown the people yesterday that there's another way of taking pictures. Now, if you find your volume buttons, okay, if you can find your volume buttons, if you're using an iPhone, the volume buttons are on the left-hand side of your iPhone. If you're using an iPad, your volume buttons are located on the right-hand side of your iPad. Okay? So you can use those volume buttons to take pictures. So what you will do is you will hold your iPad or your iPhone like this, having your finger ready and holding the volume button. So you can press the volume button to take pictures. Either volume button. Okay, either one. Just press it once and it will take a picture. Okay, so not only using this white button, you can also use the volume buttons. Okay, now that's how you take a picture. But don't just take a picture. Before you take a picture, make sure that you let the camera to focus first. Because if you just quickly press this white button or the volume key, most of the time your picture will turn out to be blurry. Okay? So, to get a good picture, you have to let the camera focus first. You have to give it some time to focus, to adjust, so that you will get a clear photo. So how do we get a clear photo, or how do we let the camera to focus? There are two ways. First way is letting the camera do the autofocus. Letting the camera do the autofocus. So how do we let the camera do the autofocus? Hold your iPhone or iPad steady for at least 1 or 2 seconds. Then you will see boxes on the screen. Either you will see a box in the middle of the screen, or you will see boxes, okay, around the faces of the person in the picture. Now, whenever you see these boxes, you are letting the program or the camera application to focus. So it is adjusting the depth of field, the brightness of the camera, the picture. So once you get the boxes, then you may press the button or the volume key. Okay? That is doing the autofocus. Now, another way to focus is doing the manual focus. Okay? Doing the manual focus. How do we do a manual focus? Now, press your finger anywhere on the screen and you will see the box. A box will appear wherever you tap your finger on the screen. So once you see the box, beside the box you will see a little sun symbol. Okay? This little sun symbol, you can bring the sun up. Okay? So place your finger again anywhere on the screen and then slide the sun up. You will notice that the image will be brighter. Now, if you bring the sun down, you will notice that the picture will become darker. Okay, so if you're outside, let's say you go on a tour and it's a sunny, bright day, the image, if it's too bright, then you can make it darker. Now, if you go on a tour and the place is quite dark, then you adjust the sun, you bring it higher to make it brighter. Okay? Or vice versa. You can make it darker, you can make it brighter. Alright? So to do a manual focus, simply tap anywhere on the screen. You will see a box and then the sun. You can bring the sun up, you can bring the sun down to adjust the brightness or darkness of the picture. Okay? So that's one good technique to take a good picture. Now, another way of taking a good picture is, let's say you want to take a picture. You saw from afar, you saw a bear. Let's say you took an Alaska tour. Okay, from afar you see a bear. Now, you can also use the zooming function of your camera. You can also use the zooming function of your camera. So to do a zooming, you place your two fingers on the screen. So to zoom in, you put your two fingers first together and then spread it apart. Alright? You put your two fingers on the screen and then you spread it apart. Now, if you want to zoom back out, then you just place your two fingers again back together. Now, I really don't recommend that you use the zooming function unless you're using an iPhone 7, or iPhone 7 Plus, which has a better zooming power. Now, what I highly recommend is if you can get closer to the subject, that's better.
Barrel each.
Okay? No, of course. Don't go close to the bear.
Barely.
But let's say I want to take a picture of you. Now you're, let's say, 20 feet from me. Now instead of using the zoom function, then I will move closer to you to get a better picture of you. Because sometimes if you zoom in too much, the picture will get pixelated. You will see some noise there. And it's really hard to focus. Okay, it's really hard to focus, especially if our hands are shaking. Okay, so as much as possible, you move closer to the subject. Okay, if you cannot move closer to the subject, then you can zoom in. Alright, so you zoom in by using your two fingers, you pinch on the screen. You spread them apart to zoom in, and then to bring it back, then you put them back together. Okay? So that's how you zoom in. Now, let's say you're outside the open deck. You're outside the open deck and the ship is rocking. It's hard to level the picture.
Yes.
Okay, it's hard to level the picture. You will get pictures, you will see pictures, the horizon is sloping. Okay? Either the captain is drunk or, or you are drunk. You cannot take a straight picture. So what you can use is, you can use the grid lines. You can use the grid lines. So how do we activate the grid lines on our camera? So I'm gonna quit first the camera application. I'm gonna go to my settings. Okay. Now under settings, I'm going to look for photos and camera, or simply the camera setting. If you've updated your iOS version to 11, the photos and camera are now separated. Okay, if you have 11, then go to the camera setting. Now, open the camera settings,
Says grid.
and then you will see there grid.
Yes. Ah.
So, switch on the grid. Okay, turn on the grid. Once you switch on the grid, let's go back now to our camera application. Open back your camera application. Now you will see the checkered lines on your screen. Okay, you see the checkered lines on the screen. So you can use any of the lines as your reference to straighten the picture. Okay, so if I'm going to take a picture of you in this room, now if I take a picture like this, you would know that the picture is crooked. Why? Because I will see that the ceiling here is sloping to the right. Now I'm going to use the grid lines to level it, to straighten it. Okay? It doesn't have to be exactly on the line. You can just use it as reference to level or to straighten your image. Okay? So you can use your grid lines. Okay? just to prevent any crooked pictures. Alright? Okay, now, this time you go on a tour, and then it's quite dark. Okay, it's getting dark, and then you need to use the flash. You need to use the flash. Now, if you're using an iPhone, your phone has, or any phones, can use Samsung or any kind of phones. Okay, this kind of smartphones have the ability to use the flash. If you're using an iPad, okay, iPad Mini, iPad Air, it doesn't have the flash. Okay, but if you're using an iPad Pro has the flash now. But anyway, now to use the flash, what you will do now is you will look on the screen found in the upper left corner. You look for the lightning bolt symbol. You click it, and you'll get three options up here. You will see auto, on, and off. Okay, so if you use auto, of course, it will fire the flash when it needs to. If you choose on, it will always fire the flash. And then off, of course, it will not fire the flash. So what is the best for what reason?
Auto.
Okay, yeah. We choose auto for what reason?
Saves battery.
Yes, that's right. Okay, so the main reason we choose auto is for battery life. Because if I choose on, it will always fire the flash even if I don't need to. If I'm in a bright place, okay, if my flash is on, it will still fire the flash and it will use up battery. Okay, if it's in auto, then it will decide whether it's going to use the flash or not. If I'm in a dark area, it will fire the flash. If I'm in a bright area, it will not fire the flash. Okay, so use auto. Okay, for the main reason of battery conservation. Okay, so that's how you choose and open the flash function. Now, I'm gonna give you a case. Let's say you're in a theater now. You're watching a show in the theater, or you go on a tour, you went to a museum. Okay, you know, in the theater you are not allowed to use the flash, or neither in the museum. So if I take a picture and I don't use the flash, what kind of picture I'm gonna get? Illegal. I'm gonna get a dark image. Of course, yes, I'm gonna get a dark image. Now, this time, what we will use is the HDR. Okay? We're going to use the HDR. Does anybody here knows the definition of HDR?
High dynamic resolution, I don't know.
High dynamic resolution. Okay, you're close.
Definition, high definition?
High dynamic definition.
Definition.
You're close. You get the first word. Okay? Now, you can all find out the meaning of HDR if you go back to your settings. So let's go back to our settings. And let's go back to our camera or photos and camera settings. All the way at the bottom, you will see there
High dynamic.
the meaning or the definition of HDR.
Oh.
So it says here, high dynamic range. And by default, this keep normal photo is switched on. Okay? So, high dynamic range blends the best parts of 3 separate exposures into a single photo. So, if you choose high dynamic range, if you choose HDR, the software, what it will do is, it will take 3 different types of exposures. Now, we don't see this. This is done internally. This is done by the software. So, it will first take a picture with a bright exposure. Then it will take a picture with a medium exposure and then a dark exposure. Then it will combine all these 3 images to create the best picture. Okay? To create the best picture. So, if your keep normal photo is on, by default this is switched on. Whenever you use HDR, you will save 2 images, okay, almost identical. Okay, you will see 2 images in your photos library. Alright, I'm gonna show you the difference between a normal photo or the original photo and an HDR picture. Alright, so that's the definition of HDR. Now I'm gonna go back to my camera application, and then I'm going to click the HDR. Same as the flash, I get 3 options: auto, on, and off. Okay, so if you go into a theater or a museum, what you will choose is on, to force the HDR to always work. Okay, so I'm gonna switch it on. You will notice that the letters HDR now has turned to yellow. That means my HDR is active. So I'm going to take a picture of you here now, and then we'll see the difference between a normal photo and an HDR photo. So I've taken a picture. I'm gonna go back and I'll open now my photos library. Okay. Now, down here, okay, as you can see in my photos library, these 2 images, they look identical. Okay, they look the same. Now, as I mentioned, whenever you have your HDR turned on and then you have the keep normal photo on, you will keep or you will save 2 images. Now, the first image is the original picture. The first image is the original picture. The second image is the HDR picture. Okay, I'll show you how you can tell the difference. Alright, so I'm going to open the first image. So this is the normal or original picture. Alright, now I'm going to switch and slide to the next one. Okay, so this is the second picture or the HDR picture. I will know that this is the HDR picture because I will see the letters HDR on top of the image. Okay, you will see the letters HDR. It doesn't show on the television, but on my iPhone, I can see the letters HDR on the screen on my phone. Okay, so can you tell the difference between the two?
Barely, but it's clear. It's clear.
Okay, yeah. So the first one is a little bit darker. Okay, and the second one is much better. Okay, so if you go in a theater, if you watch a show in a theater or go in a museum where flash is not allowed, then make sure that your HDR is turned on. You might not get the best picture, but at least you'll get a good picture. Okay, you will not get a very dark image. Alright, so now I'm going to go back and open my camera application once again. So, I've discussed the flash, the HDR. Now let's turn and go to this button here. Now this button is not available to all. Okay? Because this button was introduced only in iPhone 6s and above. So if your phone is not an iPhone 6s, alright, if you have iPhone 6 or below, then you won't get this icon here. Okay, so what is this icon? This is called the live photo. Okay, this is called the live photo. So what is a live photo? Okay, live photo is like a combination of a short movie and a photo. Okay, it's a combination of a short movie and a photo. So before it takes a picture, it will capture, okay, a few seconds of motion, a few seconds of movement, and then it will go back to a still image. So how do we use this one? If you get this, if you have this symbol here, simply tap the icon, it will turn yellow, and then you will see the word live on top of the screen. Okay, now I'm going to take a picture now and try to move There you go. Alright? So, if I open that image, okay, so the image seems like it's a still image. Seems like it's a still image. However, if I press and hold the image,
I think you have the old photo up.
this is the old
Yeah.
photo?
Yeah.
This one here.
There's the
There's-
first.
Okay? So if I press and hold the image, it will move. It will capture a few moments of movement there, motion, and then it will go back to a still image. Alright? So this live photo is good, especially if you have like your grandson jumping into the pool or your grandson or granddaughter first walk. Okay, so that's how you use the live photo. Okay, it brings back memories. Okay, so it brings back memory, and then it will put a smile on your face.
It's taking up more memory on your phone though, right?
Yeah, because it's capturing a short video and a photo. Okay? Alright, now let me go back now to the camera application. So this fourth icon here, this fourth icon is your timer. That's your timer. So if you click on this timer, it will give you three options of 3S and 10S. So 3S is 3 seconds, 10S is for 10 seconds. So actually we use this so that everybody will be ready when the camera shoots. Because whenever you take a group picture, especially with kids around, okay, for sure, one of the kids will have their eyes closed or not, or looking away. Okay, so you use the timer, and then you will see there's a countdown, and then you can tell everybody, okay, in 3, 2, 1, smile or look at the camera or cheese, so that you'll get a perfect group picture. Okay, you also use this often for selfie pictures or groovy pictures or Wi-Fi pictures.
Wi-Fi.
There's a lot of calls. Selfie, groovy, Wi-Fi. Okay, Wi-Fi. All right. So we use that timer. Okay. If you don't want to use the timer, just put it to off. Now, the fourth or the fifth icon on top looks like three little circles overlapping each other. What are those 3 little circles? Those 3 little circles are your filters or your effects, special effects that you can apply onto the picture before taking it. So if you click on those 3 little circles, now if you haven't updated to iOS 11 yet, after you click on the 3 little circles, you will see 9 different options here. 9 different styles or kinds of effects. You can select from mono, noir, what else? Transfer, and so on. Okay? Vivid. Now, if you've updated your iOS version to 11, the different filters are now located at the bottom. You can slide and you can choose what kind of filter or what kind of special effect you want to apply to the picture before taking it. Okay? Now, if you don't want to apply any filter, then you may choose the middle one, which is none or original, or down here you choose the original. But you can slide and choose any of the styles or the effects that you want to apply onto the picture before taking it. Alright?
Ooh, yours are in color.
Okay? If you want to apply like an old style picture, like a sepia tone picture or a black and white picture, alright? So use that, you can use that application there.
How do you turn it off?
Turn it off, then simply go back and choose original or choose the middle one here. If your screen has 9 different options here in the middle, you choose the middle one, which is the original or none. They see your screen?
Yeah, good.
No. Go down here to the very first one. You see the original.
Interesting.
If you choose original or none, then you're using the natural pictures, natural colors, the original colors. Okay, so no filters will be applied if you choose original. Okay? So, those are the functions of these icons or commands on top of your screen.
Is one of these better for shooting inside where it's kind of dark?
Well, not really. You just put a special effect onto your phone, onto your picture. Okay? If you're in a dark image, well, you can apply or you can adjust. Sometimes you go on a room where it's too much yellow or because of these lights. So you can adjust the color here.
Oh.
Or after you've taken the picture, you can still edit the picture, enhance, and change the saturation or the hue of the image. Okay, but I'm going to discuss that in the next class. Okay, when I talk about the Photos application, how to enhance, how to edit your pictures. Okay, so all good on these icons here, on these commands here.
Got it.
Okay, so from now on, you'll be a better photographer now. You know now how to take good pictures. So just remember the first technique that I taught you. Let the camera to focus, hold it steady, or do the manual focus. You can do the zooming. You can use the flash. You can use the grid lines. You can use the HDR, the timer, the live photo, and the filters. Those are the techniques on how to take good pictures. Okay? Yes, sir.
A question, I get burst.
Okay.
Can you control that so you don't get burst?
Now, if you are using the timer, then you will get burst, or if you press and hold your button for so long, then you get burst images.
But can I turn it off, the burst effect?
Just
No.
don't hold your button down.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with you,
Yeah.
but I was wondering if there's a
Yeah.
switch that would.
You cannot
Protect
turn
me
off.
from
You cannot
myself.
turn off
Yeah.
the burst, especially if you're using the timer.
So are you
there.
saying when you use the timer, it automatically does a burst, not just one picture?
It does that after iPhone 6, right, Richard? The burst works the timer, no? After iPhone 6, the burst, if you use the timer, it will automatically go to burst.
Not that I know of. I just did one and that's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah,
How many did it do?
I didn't count it.
Oh,
It was multiple.
okay,
Yeah.
interesting. Which makes them,
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about now.
Yeah.
I was spacing out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
You use the
Okay.
same-
Yeah, yeah. No, yeah, it'll automatically burst on a timer
Yeah.
after an iPhone 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
All right. So, if you don't want to, let's say you've taken some burst pictures, then you go to the image, you click on select, it will open the series of pictures.
Okay.
Then you just select which one you want to get rid of.
That
The
was
one that
my
you
first-
deselected, the one that you didn't click, you will keep it. Okay? All right. So I'm gonna turn off the timer. Now.
It's 10 seconds, the max on that timer?
Yes, 10 seconds. So far, only 3 seconds and 10 seconds are the options. Okay. Now, let's talk about the different commands or modes that we saw down at the bottom of our screen. Okay? So, the first 3 categories that we see here, time-lapse, slow-mo, and video. These 3 modes are used to capture videos. Okay, these 3 modes, time-lapse, slow-mo, and video, are used to capture motion or videos. Now, what's the difference between time-lapse, slow-mo, and video? Have you seen a time-lapse video? For sure you've seen one.
Hours.
Okay, for sure you've seen one. You
Animation.
just don't know that, oh, it's called a time lapse. Alright? For sure you've seen like a video clip of a flower blooming or a sunset. Okay, or a video where everything is in fast forward. Okay, you've seen that one? Like in New York Times Square. Okay, and then everything is moving very, very fast. So that is a time-lapse video. So what does the time-lapse video actually does is, if you click on this red button here, one rotation, it will take a picture. Okay? Then after maybe 2 or 3 seconds, after it rotated back, it will capture another picture until you stop it. So if you just keep it going, every rotation, it will take one picture, take another picture, and then it will combine all these pictures together to create a video. So imagine after one picture, there is like 2 or 3 seconds interval. Okay, so when you combine all these pictures, everything will look like fast forward. Everything would look like fast forward.
You need a tripod to do that?
Yes, it's better to use a tripod so that it will not be really shaky. Okay, I'm gonna take a time-lapse video and I'm gonna show you. So please try to move. Try to wave. Okay, so take note of this one, huh? Every rotation is taking an image. It's capturing a picture. Okay? Okay, let's stop that.
Now, you only have to hit it once to cause the rotation to start.
Yes, and then hit it again to stop it. Alright, now, so this is, I think, yeah, this is the time-lapse video now. So I'm gonna play it. It's too short. Oh, I lost the airplane. Yeah, I have to keep it playing for longer because I think it only rotated 2 or 3 times only. But you will see whenever you take a time-lapse video, everything looks like it's in fast forward. Okay? Like a flower blooming or a sunset. Okay, so that is the time-lapse. Now, the next one is the slow-mo. Now, of course, slow-mo is the opposite of time-lapse, where everything now is in slow motion. So what does the slow motion does? So this time, the slow motion, it's capturing like 120 pictures per second, 120 frames per second. So imagine it will take 120 shots in 1 second, and it's showing all these shots in 1 second. So every movement it's capturing, so that you will see that it's in slow motion.
I'm giving you a slow motion video.
Ah,
Oh, good.
yeah. So this is a slow motion video.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
what the camera is doing is it's taking 120 pictures in 1 second. So every movement, it's capturing it and it's showing it. Okay, so that's what makes it slow motion.
It's also using an awful lot of space on here, right?
Mm. Okay, so that is slow motion. Okay, now the third one is the video. Now the video is the normal. Okay, for normal video, it's taking 30 frames per second or 60 frames per second. If you're using an HD type of camera, it's taking 60 frames per second. Okay, but the normal one is 30 frames per second. Alright, that is video.
How long can that run for?
Depends on the storage of your device. If you have plenty of storage, you can run it for 30 minutes, 1 hour, but of course, you use up a lot of space.
Okay.
Okay? Now, the next 3 options, the next 3 modes are used to take still images or pictures. Now, if you choose photo, you have the option to take the picture in portrait mode or in landscape mode. Portrait mode is taking a picture with your iPhone upright like this. Okay, this is in portrait mode. If you tilt your iPhone sideways, then this is in landscape mode. Okay, so portrait mode, the height is longer than the width. Landscape mode, the width is longer than the height. Okay, so if you're into printing, of course, the pixel dimensions will be different from portrait to landscape. Alright? Now, if you go to square, if you slide to square, now this time it won't matter how you take the picture, whether you take the picture upright or sideways, your picture will have the same dimension. Height and width will have the same size, dimensions. Okay, so it doesn't matter how you take the picture, it will be the same size, same dimension size. Okay?
So what's the benefit of using square?
Well, we use the photo or the square if we just like to post it in a social media application, in Facebook or Instagram.
Instagram only takes square, at least they used to.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have to take it in square to get it on Instagram.
That or you edit it.
Yeah.
It saves you
Okay.
having to edit it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay? Now, the last one, this one is fun.
Yes.
This is the most fun I use. Okay? So the third one is the pano. Okay? So for sure, some of you or most of you or all of you have been to the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Okay? Or the Eiffel Tower. Okay? Or Statue of Liberty. So, those pictures are like vertical panoramas. But before we go that, let me first explain to you how this works. So, when you choose panorama, your screen now will look like this. You have an arrow, you have a preview of the panorama image here, and the arrow starts from left, pointing to the right. Okay, take note of this one. So, I will start from the left hand side, click on the white button, and start rotating my body. And please try to maintain the tip of the arrow on the line. I know it's hard. Better to use a tripod. So try to maintain the tip of the arrow on the line and don't do it too fast. Because if you do it too fast, you'll get an error message to slow down. Now, once you reach the 360 mark, it will automatically stop. But you can stop at any point if you want to. If you don't want to capture the 180 view, then you can click on the white button and you can stop at any point you want. Okay? So, I've captured a 180 view of this room, and this is how it looks like. Okay? So that's how you take a panorama picture. Now take note, when I took the panorama image, I started from the left, right? Okay, so I went clockwise. But I don't want to go clockwise. I want to go counterclockwise. I'm different. Okay, so how do I make the arrow to point the other way?
Touch it.
So simply tap it. Okay,
Oh.
simply tap it. So after you tap it, then it will flip. It will point the opposite way. And from here, you can start from the right and go counterclockwise. Okay?
Is it in landscape mode in this?
Yeah, this one you're taking a landscape or a horizontal panorama.
What do you mean?
Yes,
Where
I
you
will
get-
go there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So this way, you're taking a horizontal panorama, a landscape panorama. Now, what about if you go to Leaning Tower Pisa or Eiffel Tower, where you will see tall structures there? Now, how can you take a panorama, a vertical panorama? Because if you tap the arrow, it only goes left and right. Okay, so how can we take a vertical panorama? All you have to do is just tilt your camera, tilt your iPhone. Now, if your arrow is pointing upwards, of course, you're gonna start from the bottom. You're gonna start from the bottom. You take the picture, and then you move up. Okay? You move up until you get what you want, and then you hit stop. Alright? So this is the vertical panorama of this room. Okay, this is the vertical panorama of this room. If your arrow is pointing down, then of course you start from the bottom, from the top, and then go down. Okay? So that's how you use the panorama function
When
of
you do
your
that, you only hit the button, the take the picture button once. And
once,
that's it.
and then
And then when you're
go
done,
down.
hit again.
yes, if you want to stop, you can stop at any point and it will stop recording. But if you continue and then the arrow goes to the end or goes to the last, the end point, then it will stop automatically. Okay? Alright? So those are the different modes that we see down here. Any questions? Now you're all empowered. You are now
We're gonna be out there.
you're all now professional photographers. You can now replace the photographers on deck 4. No, I'm just
Don't
kidding.
tell them.
You know, in the digital cameras that came out over the last 10 years, they've had built-in stabilization.
Mhm.
Does this one have anything like that?
Well, this one doesn't have yet, but the iPhone 7, yes, it has now the image stabilization. iPhone 7 and 7 Plus.
So, do you have to enable it, or is it just there?
It's automatic, yeah. Okay? It's automatic already. It will adjust and yeah.
Okay.
Because the iPhone 7 Plus, the camera, they really made big adjustments there, really big improvements there. Especially the zooming power of the camera.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw they did that on the video now too. They have a zoom feature on the video
Yeah.
where they did
Okay? Okay, so your next assignment, if you want to attend the next class, I want you to take pictures, especially panorama pictures, and then the next class we're gonna show it here. Okay, we're gonna display your panorama images here. Okay, the next class will be on the next C day, so that is 4 days from now. I hope you don't forget me. So 4 days from now, same time, 3 p.m., same place, same face. Okay? So what I will discuss there, I'm going to discuss to you the photos application. This one here. So after you've taken pictures, I'm going to show you what you can do with those pictures. Don't just let it rot in your camera and don't do nothing. Okay? So I will show you how to attach it to an email, how to airdrop it, and how to create albums. Okay? How to organize your photos and create albums. Okay? Any questions?
I do have one,
Yes, sir.
a basic one probably. In the lower left-hand corner,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, I'm in the wrong place.
This one. Or this one.
That one. What is that?
This one is a preview of the last picture you've taken. If you tap this one, it will open the last image or the last photo that you've taken.
Takes you to your photo.
It directs to your photo library, but it shows you the last image, last photo or video that
You
you've
can
taken.
go through.
Okay?
And then you've got an arrow up here to go back to camera.
Yeah. Okay? And then, of course, this icon here, you can switch your camera from front to back or vice versa. Okay? If you click on this one, right now I'm using the back camera. And if I click here, then I'm going to use my front camera. Okay. All right? Any questions? Any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
On the photos, I've taken some out at sea already,
Mm-hmm.
and I've noticed when I've imported some to my computer,
Mm-hmm.
you can click on it, and the properties will come up, and it'll give you the exact latitude, longitude,
Mm-hmm.
time. Is that possible to view on the phone itself? I've clicked on pictures and it doesn't.
No, but I'm going to show you that in the photos, like in your. Wait.
Photos.
In photos, if you go to your collections, okay, here you will see here the date or the location you took those pictures, and then
Yes,
you will also see there under albums the places you took those pictures. Okay, if your, well, this is a preview of what I'm going to teach you in the next class. If your GPS is on, or if your cellular signal or Wi-Fi is on, it will locate your current location and will put it in the map here. Okay, under the places album.
Now, is that only if you have the location services turned on
Yes.
for your camera?
Yes. Okay? So that will be discussed in the next class. I'll show you how to create albums here. Okay? Everything is clear?
No.
Huh?
Do you have a little handout of what you spoke about today?
Okay. Now, I believe Richard has recorded this one. And then, after he compressed the video, I can give you a copy. Okay? Even for the class yesterday, I can give you a copy. If you missed the class yesterday, I can give you a copy once I received a compressed version of the video of my class.
When?
If you can come back maybe in 2 days or 3 days, come back.
Okay.
Once I get the compressed version of the video.
Okay.
Okay? So I'd like,
Does he have yesterday's? I think he has it. Yeah.
yes, but he hasn't compressed it yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
he mentioned earlier that I have the video and then he will compress it first to make it smaller so that it will fit. I can send it to, if you have a flash drive, or I can airdrop it to your device. Okay? Okay, so I would like to thank you for coming,
Thank you.
and I hope you learned something from me.
Thank you.
Sure
Okay.
did. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much and have a good day.